I think every week in this Big 12 conference, it's just you've got tough battles. No matter who you're playing, these teams are all good enough to beat you, and you can't beat yourself, and that is for sure. And as we work in this week to Iowa State, I mean, you certainly can't have those mistakes. You will get beat. Iowa State's one of the best teams in the country in turnover margin, and we got to do a great job with that to have a chance to win this game. He's such a competitor. He tries to play his tail off every time he's out there. He tries to make every play work, which is a great trait, but it's also at times can get you in trouble. And I think I've seen that, in NFL, I've seen it in great college players that we've had over the years. There's a fine line there, and because defenses, are coached well, they have really good players. Sometimes they're going to be right, and sometimes you have to just take it as an offensive player and as a coach. And we don't like it, and he didn't, Sorghum doesn't like it, so he just fights to get him to make a play. But at some point, and you can't. One of the reason we loved him, when we watched his film, was how competitive he was and how much passion that he played with. I love that. We don't ever want to lose that. So, but again, it comes to Chad, experience, and knowing when just to take the play and not try to force anything. And I think that's what it comes down to. So, but I love his passion. He'll keep playing hard. I mean, he's going to keep playing like that. You just got to do a better job with the decision making. Well, there's a lot of the teams that we're playing are if they're playing zone, they're playing back, they're giving you the underneath throws, the 5 to 15 yard throws, and that's what we're taking. If we are getting some one-on-one matchups, we haven't necessarily won on the outside. So just keep taking what they give us, and then hopefully we'll be able to get some yards. Man, a ton of respect for their quarterback, Rocco. I mean, if you look at him and Sorsby's stats, they're almost identical. It's amazing to me. Really, if you look at their offense and our offensive stats, they're identical. There's like 6 play difference out of 9 games. I think there's maybe 10 or 11 yards difference in total offense. We're 30th in the country, they're 29th. I mean, it is amazing the parallel offensively, and then obviously defensively. We were on the same staff at Toledo in 2009. Matt's a great friend of mine who, even before that though, he used to come down and visit when I was at App State. He was at Mount Union. They won many national championships there, and so we just got a friendship going there. And then I worked with them in 2009 at Tim Beckman's staff at Toledo. And a lot of parallels with that. Our guys that were on our staff, out of our offensive staff in 2009, out of the 5 full-time coaches there, 4 of them are head coaches. Alec Golish at South Florida, Jason Cannell at Toledo, myself here, and Matt at Iowa State. So it was a great offensive staff, great guys, and learned a lot from those guys. And so ever since then, I've kept in touch with Matt. I actually visited Iowa State when I was at App State back probably 6 years ago. Went up and visited in the spring, watched them practice, and just a tremendous amount of respect for how they do things and how they coach their players. The field is not a good field. There's just no other way to say it. You go back and you watch it. I mean, for years you can watch it. Guys are slipping, and Texas Tech game, they're slipping all over the place. But it's both teams. It's not just the opponent. I mean, it's Iowa State, they're slipping as well. So Coach Vite talked about that. Kind of what they got on their field. But I mean, they certainly need to look at what they can do to get a better field. I mean, it is slipping left and right. Maybe they like it like that. I don't know. Maybe that's a home field advantage to them, but. It's certainly something that we got to take some different kind of cleats and try to figure out which one's going to be the best ones to wear. You can't really prepare for that. We're practicing here in Nippert. I mean, we're turf. So you really can't prepare for that until you get out there and get in the pregame and see what we can put on.
They're the same, similar kind of defense to us, and they kind of know, what is the pros and the cons of our defense. So that's one thing you got to worry about. They do a lot of motions and stuff like that. They got a pretty good quarterback, pretty good team. So it's going to be a good test for us. For my last year, it meant a lot to me. I really want us to be able to win the ball game. I feel like, it's hard to win 6 games. It's hard to even win 1 game of football. So for us to, double that feeling last year, and we want to win, the rest of our games. But just getting to a ball game mean a lot to this program. It mean a lot to the fans. So I feel like for us, that's really our main goal right now.
I mean, yeah, I'll be getting bracketed. There'll be a guy over top and maybe a guy kind of walling me. But West Virginia did a good job disguising their coverages, so it wasn't all that I was getting doubled or anything, and we were running the ball well, so just really wasn't out in the pass game too much. I was blocking a little bit more on Saturday, which is fine, but yeah, they just did a good job disguising their defense. He didn't bat an eye. I mean, can't put that all on him. He's just trying to make plays, and I'll ride for him any day. When you're out there, I don't really hear it, to be honest. I mean, it can be a little tough maybe in the huddle or pre-snap when I'm trying to hear kind of what Brendan's saying if he's making a check. But when you're on the field, you kind of just tune that out. You don't really hear it.